Is it possible to arrive before you leave? This might sound preposterous, but this was exactly what Concorde, the supersonic jet, achieved more than half a century ago. In 1976, the jet took just an astonishing 3.5 hours to complete a London-New York flight. The Concorde left the Heathrow Airport in London at 10:30 a.m. and would arrive at the John F. Kennedy Airport in New York at 9 a.m. the same day. The flight was the epitome of luxury and extravagance for millionaires and celebrities worldwide. At a top speed of 2 times the speed of sound, the journey aboard the Concorde was indeed an exhilarating one. Passenger aircrafts even don't fly at the half speed that the Concorde used to achieve. These magnificent planes ruled the skies for 3 decades. However, these days one can only find them as showpieces in European museums. Although science has advanced so much over the past few decades, no other supersonic passenger aircrafts exist even today. What caused this? What happened to the esteemed Concorde? Let us find out in this video. Man has always dreamt of attaining higher speeds and reaching farther destinations. Airplane was an important invention towards this goal. Once propeller-based aircrafts got replaced with jet engines, the journey became twice as fast and larger distances could be covered. The next step was to build aircrafts that could travel faster than the speed of sound. With the launch of the first supersonic aircraft in USA in 1947, the competition for the skies had begun. Though the superpowers of the world initially sought to build supersonic military aircrafts, it wasn't long before they shifted their attention to manufacturing faster commercial aircrafts. In the 1960s, the USA, European countries and the USSR spent huge amounts of money into these projects. One of these projects was the Boeing 2707, a prototype manufactured by the USA. However, it was also during the time that the US invested a lot of money into space projects. Besides, the United States was facing a severe economic crisis following the Vietnam War. This financial crunch prompted US to end their supersonic passenger project. At the same time, Europe, the continent that witnessed 2 world wars, was not far behind in its aviation technology. Britain and France aimed to revive their deteriorating economies by manufacturing and selling supersonic aircrafts. Initially, these 2 countries had their own individual projects. However, they decided to join forces to reduce the costs. The project known as Concorde was viewed as a pillar of pride by these nations. As a result, both countries heavily invested into these promising projects. However, France's abject surrender to Germany in the early days of Second World War meant that the British were always suspicious of the French. The British always worried that the French could withdraw from the project at any given time. To avoid this, Britain stated in the agreement that whoever withdraws from the project first would have to bear the full cost of the project till that point. Hundreds of engineers from both these nations spent several years working on the Concorde. The plan was to modify the supersonic jet engines used in fighter jets and use them in Concorde. Due to the lack of computers and digital technology in this era, engineers had to resort to paper-based designs and physical models. These models were then tested in wind tunnels to arrive at the final design. The specially designed delta wing was the Concorde's most predominant feature. These wings were designed to provide lift to the Concorde both at supersonic and subsonic speeds. The wings also incorporated a clever fuel management system that adjusted the amount of fuel stored within its various compartments. To travel at supersonic speeds, the aircrafts required a huge amount of fuel. Hence, the Concorde had the capacity to carry a total of 120,000 liters of fuel, stored in 17 tanks within the aircraft. The Concorde's fuselage was long and narrow due to the pointy and elongated nose of the plane. It was almost impossible for pilots to see the runway during landing. The engineers solved the problem by designing a nose that can fall downwards. At supersonic speeds, the surface temperature of the plane could reach up to 127 degrees, so special paints that could reflect the heat were applied to the surface. During the flight, the length of the aircraft would increase up to 18 centimeters due to the heat. To ensure equal participation, 2 prototypes were simultaneously built in the both countries. By the time project was completed, the final costs were 5 times the expected amount. Britain wanted to withdraw from the project, but due to the stipulation that the first one to withdraw had to repay the entire amount, that they had no choice but to go ahead with it. The first prototype of the aircraft was exhibited in France in 1969. People welcomed the Concorde with a great enthusiasm. 74 orders for the Concorde were placed by the airline companies around the world, 2 of which were made by Air India. Meanwhile, the USSR had introduced a supersonic passenger aircraft similar to the Concorde, known as the Tupolev 144. Britain and France alleged that the USSR had stolen the implemented the Concorde's design into their own aircraft. The Tupolev 144 was neither as advanced nor as reliable as Concorde. The Tupolev 144 crashed twice during test flights. Only 55 trips were ever scheduled on this plane, and thereafter services had to be stopped. The Concorde was only beginning its triumphant journey. Britain and France introduced it as an ultra-premium product. Unfortunately, this was also the time when the Arab-Israeli wars broke out. In protest of the West's support for Israel, Arab countries suspended oil exports to the Western countries, which included Britain and France. Countries around the world which relied on the Middle East for the petroleum exports were in crisis. Countries around the world which relied on the Middle East for petroleum exports were in crisis. As oil prices quadrupled, the demand for the oil-hungry Concorde went down. The Concorde's problems did not end there. The powerful sound caused by the supersonic speed of the Concorde not only annoyed people but also damaged buildings. Including India, had banned the Concorde from flying over their populated areas. Also, the Concorde didn't have the range to fly over the Pacific Ocean, and hence its services were limited to just transatlantic flights. In addition to this, the Concorde also caused some environmental concerns. The Concorde flew at twice the altitude of other aircrafts through the ozone layer. The smoke emitted by the powerful engines also posed a threat to ozone layer. Because of all these reasons, all the companies, including Air India, cancelled their orders. It reached a point where even British Airways and Air France didn't want the Concorde. Britain and France feared that they would have to abandon their prestige project without even a single plane in service. Their only option was to give away Concorde aircrafts for free to British Airways and Air France. The only condition was that if their services ever became profitable, the airline companies would have to pay dividends. Finally, in 1976, the Concorde began regular services, although the services were initially running at a huge loss. The Concorde was very well received by the public. Ticket prices were set so that they are higher than even the first-class tickets on a regular aircraft. There was only a single class on the Concorde, but the journey was indeed a luxurious one. Passengers only spent a short time on the aircraft, but the on-board facilities were comparable to that of a five-star restaurant. Champagne and caviar flowed as soon as the plane was in the air. The journey was completed by the time the feast was over. The Mach meter, which showed the passengers that they were traveling at twice the speed of sound, was an exhilarating part of the Concorde experience. Not only was it astounding that it only took 3.5 hours to cross the Atlantic Ocean, but also mind-boggling to note that one arrived in New York at an earlier time than the time of departure from London. It was entirely possible to leave London or Paris in the morning, travel thousands of kilometers to New York, complete your visit and return back by evening. As a result, wealthy professionals and businessmen began to rely more on the Concorde. In addition to this, the Concorde aircrafts were being chartered to tourists. While the Concorde situation was slowly improving, tragedy struck once again. A chartered Concorde aircraft flying from Paris to New York had a fatal crash, killing all passengers on board. Even though the Concorde was not solely responsible for this fatal accident, the brunt of the flame was placed on the Concorde. The situation worsened following 2001 terrorist attack in the USA. Following the airplane hijacking, people around the world were afraid of air travel. This resulted in a massive hit on the airplane revenues. At that time, Concorde was in a state of complete disarray, oftentimes having to run flights without even a single passenger. Furthermore, the expenses to maintain these 30-year-old aircrafts were getting out of hand. The Concorde has become quite literally a white elephant, and hence the British Airways and Air France decided to discontinue the services. On 24th October 2003, the Concorde flew for the last time from New York to London. The Concorde was greeted with a water salute at the Heathrow Airport. Although it was technically very advanced, only 20 Concorde aircrafts were ever built. This was not only due to the fuel prices but also due to environmental concerns and the limitations due to sonic boom. No supersonic passenger aircraft exist even today. However, private companies such as Boom Supersonic is trying to fix the shortcomings and build a new generation of supersonic passenger aircrafts. NASA has also been doing research in this field. Let us hope that their valiant efforts will bear fruit in the future and make the world an even smaller place.